Hey besties, welcome back. I hope you all had a lovely week. And yes, I'm not cooking today. I am cleaning my kitchen. So this was last Monday. I normally do a deep clean on a Monday because we do a lot of cooking on Sunday. So last Sunday I cooked for a party of 20 people, and yeah, I'm just gonna give the kitchen a run through because the oven needs to clean and stuff like that. So right here, I'm just gonna go ahead and cover that metal part in the bottom of the oven, and I'm using Easy Off. If you have used it before, you know it's kind of toxic. You have to just spray it and run. So I always try to use the blue bottle one. It's fume free. However, I didn't get that one. So what I do is I just spray, and while I'm spraying, I hold my breath. I walk away, get some air, and then I come back and do the same. Alright, so I close the oven and I leave it for the last thing to do. So also make sure you don't have any food open close by to absorb the chemical. So now I'm just going to go ahead and clean up some little dishes in the sink. And of course, my husband always try to distract me when he see me doing something. I don't know about you, but I love to wash dishes. I occasionally use the dishwasher, maybe like on a Sunday afternoon, or if we have guests over and there's a lot of dishes, that's the only way. But otherwise, we wash and dry the dishes with our hands. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead clean down my counter. The worst thing for me is when I'm working and someone is watching me and not helping. So I just run my husband out of the kitchen. So I'm using the Dawn dish soap to just wipe down the counter. I have this thing about wiping down counter. It's just a habit in me. If I'm standing in the kitchen or cooking, and even when there's nothing to be wiped, I'm there wiping down. That's also one of the reasons why I take long in the kitchen sometimes when I'm cooking, because I am doing unnecessary stuff. Yeah, from I was a little girl, I always like to. I don't mind if you tell me to go and clean up the kitchen or wash dishes, and I always leave the kitchen spotless. So it's something that is in me. If I come in the kitchen to cook and it is not up to par, I'm miserable. Not even my kids don't want to talk to me because from the look on my face, them know say I'm in a bad mood. Sometimes I'll also use vinegar. So if you don't have the Dawn, you can use vinegar. It's one of my favorite things to use when I'm cleaning down my counter or my sink. Vinegar is really nice. Another thing that I like to do is pour some baking powder down in the garbage disposal, and then I pour some vinegar down in there, and you can also rinse it with some bleach or some hot water, because I know sometimes there's a little scent down in that area. Alright, so once I'm done wiping down, I'm gonna go on to clean down the cupboards. A lot of times when you're cooking, flour dust will fly into places. So on your cupboard, in the little crease and crevices, yes, there's always some sort of flour dust or some sort of food particles in those areas. So it's very important to just clean down in the crevices of your kitchen cupboard. I don't really use any form of chemical or any form of furniture polish or anything. I just use a damp towel, and then I use a dry one to go over it. And that's basically it. If you know of anything else that can be used on it that is not harsh, you can leave it in the comment section as well. So also for the oven, if you have anything that is less harsh, you can leave it in the comment section as well. I just try to clean the oven as often as possible so that I don't have to use it all the time, because I really don't like using it. So now moving on over to the stove, I have this glass top stove cleaner, and I'm going to be sprinkling it on, and it also comes with a little scrub brush that I'm going to use to brush the top, and then I just wipe it down with a wet towel, and that's basically it. Most of you who watch me cook, you know that this burner is used a lot. This specific one that I'm scrubbing right now, It is indeed the most popular burner in the house. After I wipe it off, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about. You will see the difference of this burner in comparison to the others. So right here in between the stove, if you know, you know, you have to either pull away the stove or you can do what I'm doing, but occasionally you have to pull the stove back so that you can get behind there and clean it properly. But there's always food falling in those little corners. So moving on to the air fryer, just a regular wipe down with a wet towel, no liquid, no form of chemical or anything is used on it. And then I just go ahead, spray some down, wipe down the counter. Moving on to the deep fryer, we fried a lot of chicken the day before for the party, so I'm just gonna go ahead, pour that grease off. It is still fresh and still good, and I'm gonna save it to pour back into the deep fryer. And I'm also gonna clean the cover, which is full of grease. I'm just spraying it down, put it aside until I'm done with the hooded area. For that part, I am using the Dawn dish soap. It takes away the grease, and I'm just going to scrub it with the steel wool. Growing up, I always call this steel wool, and no one corrected me. But you know, when you get turn allows and you start read packages yourself and realize it's steel wool. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and scrub the top, and that's pretty easy because I sprayed it down before. There's no nothing strenuous about cleaning this. As much as it looks, it's just the grease from the frying of the chicken the day before, and that's it. And then we're gonna rinse it off. After rinsing, I go back over it with some of the Dawn dish soap and my Scotch Brite, and I like to give it like 2 wash with the Scotch Brite and the soap, just to ensure that I rinse off all of the oven cleaner that I sprayed on it, and then I rinse it down properly and dry it off. So now back to the oven. It's much easier to clean now that I have leave it with the spray on it. I'm just going over it with the Scotch Brite, and when I wipe it off, you will see everything come off real easy and quick. Yes, yeah, the chemical is bad, and honestly it is, and I wouldn't suggest that if you're trying to like get pregnant, or if you're pregnant, you know that you are not supposed to use it. But I do use it occasionally because it helps a lot. The bottom of the oven does come in so handy to store stuff. I like to store stuff in there, and I'm always checking if it's clean because sometimes when you use your oven often, down in that area will get dirty. I clean it on a regular basis, so it's up to par, and I'm just giving it a little wipe down. And that's it for the oven. Moving on to the other side of the counter, I'm just removing everything just to ensure that the entire back wall is clean, bearing in mind that the deep fryer is kept on that side, so grease will be on the plugs and stuff like that that I will need to wipe off. And again, I'm using the Dawn Power Wash to just wipe it down, and it remove the grease quick and easy. So I'm basically done with that side, just replacing the items. And let me tell you, the video is long, right? I am slow. Let me tell you that when it comes to cleaning and doing stuff, it's not that I'm slow. I'm very particular in how I do stuff. So I take a lot of time. I spend a lot of time on something to get it perfect the way that I want it. So the next thing is the fridge. I use just wet towel and a dry towel. I know persons have asked me what do I use to keep my fridge so shiny. That's the only thing that I do. I wipe it down with a wet towel and then I use a dry towel to wipe it down, and that's it. But they do have stainless steel cleaners that you can use if you want to purchase it. But ever since, I've always used just a wet towel and a dry towel, and I don't like anyone use their wet hand to open my fridge door. It leaves spots, but when it happen, I just use a wet towel and then I dry it off with a dry towel, and that's it. So now I'm just gonna sweep the floor, and I'm using this stuff for the first time. What I like to do is use baking soda. I just sprinkle it on the floor and then I pour some vinegar, especially when the grout is dirty or the tile need to be stripped. I just use some baking soda and vinegar and it works wonders. I'm just trying this pink stuff the first time and I'm not really a big fan. I do prefer the baking soda and the vinegar, and for the running board I use this magic eraser. Just wet, squeeze and wipe, and as simple as that sound, it does clean the running board. The running board is very hard to keep clean because when you sweep, the dust will fly on it. But whenever you clean and you don't wipe it off, it just seems like something is incomplete. So the oven is nice and clean. I just put a disposable pan with water in there, turn it on just as a precautionary measure. The cleaning product that I was using in there, I just want to make sure that it is absorbed before I'm ready to use my oven, and I always do that whenever I clean the oven. So yes, I'm ready to start my week with a nice clean fresh kitchen, and my husband contributed by organizing the food tray that you see right here and the kitchen towels in the other tray. That was his contribution to my hard work. Yes. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate your love and your support. Keep on watching, keep on liking and sharing my videos, and always come back for more. Have yourself a beautiful weekend. Stay safe, stay blessed, and show some love, and I'll catch you guys in my next one.